Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mrs. Smith 88. So today I wanted to do a video for you guys that was a little bit different. You guys have seen that I did my beauty empties for January of 2019. I did my wax empties for 2019. So also I wanted to start doing a video each month from my GoodReads account showing you guys what books I read for the month and how I am progressing at my New Year's resolution. So my New Year's resolution was to read 12 books this year, and I have to say I am knocking it out of the park. I have already read four of my 12 books. I'm already 33% of my way through my goal, and I don't think that my goal is going to stop me. I think that I'm totally going to surpass my goal, and I am thrilled because I found a website called GoodReads. Now, I'm not sponsored by GoodReads, but I wanted to share it with you guys because I absolutely love this. Not only can I track my progress on my reading, I'm able to track my progress on the book that I am currently reading. As you guys can see right now, I am currently reading Gillian Flynn's Sharp Objects book. Really enjoying this book. I went ahead and I started it this morning because I happened to finish up another book, which I'm going to show you guys shortly. So we're going to hop on over here to the 2019 reading challenge where I can click and show you guys what books I read in January. So I read 4 books in January. The first book I read was Stephen King, The Outsider. And I have to say I wasn't too fond of this book. This was the first book in my challenge, so I didn't want to give up. I didn't want to close it down and start on something new. I wanted to give it my undivided attention. I wanted to see my way through and read the whole book. And it just wasn't for me. I like murder mystery, I like true crime, I like thrillers. Yes, that book fits into this category, but to me, it was just an overrated version of the Boogeyman story when it came to The Outsider. Didn't really do much for me and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I only finished reading it because it was my first book of my resolution, and I didn't want to throw my resolutions out the window. I wanted to see through with my resolution and that kind of stuff. So, wasn't crazy about Stephen King, The Outsider. The next book that I read was The Flight Attendant by Chris Bohjalian. And this book definitely fits into that thriller category. It was a good read. Was it an out of this world, page turning book that I just couldn't put down? Absolutely not. Like I said, it was a good read. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the storyline. I enjoyed the author's work. Really good format and writing and that kind of stuff. But not a favorite of mine. Not like a top 10 book, but a good read. Definitely check it out if you're bored and are looking for a new thriller to read. I know it was featured in one of the thriller categories over the past month on GoodReads. That's what prompted me to read it. Next was my favorite book of January, and that was Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Absolutely love this book. This was everything I was looking for in a book. It started out kind of mediocre, and then it got to the point where you could start guessing what was going to happen, and that kind of kept me in suspense because I wanted to know if my suspicions were true. That's what ended up turning the book into a real page turner. This has prompted me to add more Lisa Jewell books to my reading list of books that I want to read. I use an app on my phone called Libby where I can download ebooks and read them for free through my library. Right now, a lot of her books are on hold. I have a 9-week wait till I can get into some more Lisa Jewell books. So I'm hoping to go to my library this weekend and get my hands on some more so I can keep forth with my reading goal of 2019. Definitely, of these 4, if I had to recommend a book, it would be Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Hands down, great book. Cannot rave enough about it. Definitely will probably be featured in my top 10 at the end of the year because I definitely think I'm going to surpass reading 12 books considering I read 4 this month. If I continually read 4 books each month, that would be 48 books by the end of the year, which would be totally awesome. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But if I could get a good 20-25 books in this year, I will definitely comprise a list of my top 10 books. So the 4th and final book for January, this is the book that I finished up this morning. This is Crank, and Crank is a young adult novel. Falls in line once again with a thriller, a little bit of suspense. This is a little bit different from a lot of the books that I read. A lot of the books had like murder and crime involved in them. This one was about a young female who was involved with meth. Definitely, if you struggle with drug addiction or past drug addiction, this book might be a trigger for you because of all the drug talk and all the references and the use and so forth and that kind of stuff. Storyline was good on it, but the format that the author wrote in just wasn't my forte. I didn't, it was hard to follow along. I mean, technically not hard to follow along, but I lacked interest because of the writer's style in it. Not typical, like paragraph after paragraph. She tried to write it in a poetic form, I would say, so that's what kind of made me lose interest on it. This is a trilogy. There are two more in this series. I know one is Glass, and I forget what the other one is. Chances are I'm probably going to pick them up at the library because I don't want to start a trilogy and not finish. Not only that, even though I don't like the writer's style, I like that it's a quick read and it has a good storyline. So I hope you guys enjoyed my January 2019 books that I read. If you want to, feel free to follow me on GoodReads. I will put a link below where you can add me as a friend and you guys can keep track of what I'm reading and you can make suggestions, or you could make suggestions here. Feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.